Hey everybody, welcome back. March 13th, National Coconut Torte Day. What's a coconut torte? I don't know. I couldn't find a recipe for one anywhere to save my life. A lot of different weird stuff. I mean, the difference between a cake and a torte is, from what I found, was that a cake tends to use more flour than a torte does in the cake part of it or something like that. I don't know. You can do some booze soaked into your cake on the torte one. There was no definitive, okay, here's a coconut torte recipe. So we're kind of going to wing it and do our own thing today. I'm going back to my favorite baker, Gretchen'sBakery.com. I'm going back to her site. Found a coconut sponge cake we're going to do today. And with that, we're going to also do her cream cheese frosting that we did for the carrot cake. But we're going to add coconut to that too. So we're going to make this coconut layer cake torte thing. It's going to be good. Very coconutty and very good, I know, because her stuff rocks. And I'll put her web address up again at the end if you guys want to check out some of the stuff that she's got there. Really, really amazing stuff. Anyway, we've got all our stuff laid out here. Here's my stuff for the cake part. Here's my stuff for the frosting part. We're going to do one at a time. And let's get started, everybody. Let's see if we can pull this one out today. Coconut torte, or cake, or whatever. See you in a few minutes. Okay, for the cake part of this today, you need 4 large eggs, a cup of sugar, 1½ cups of cake flour, a ½ cup of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, 1 stick of unsalted butter, a cup of canned coconut milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of coconut extract, and 1¼ cup of sweetened flake coconut. Alright, let's get started today. So here I have my 4 eggs, and they're room temperature eggs, and I have my KitchenAid mixer bowl, metal bowl, sitting in a bowl of hot water, because I want to warm up this bowl and put my eggs in there and let them get a little warm. Because according to Gretchen, warm eggs whip up better than anything else. So that's what we're going to do, is just kind of warm those up a little bit and then put them on our attachment with our whip attachment here, and we're going to whip those up, okay? Okay, so we have our eggs warmed up, ready to go, and we're going to start this off. We're going to whip this, and we're going to gradually add our sugar once we get this kind of going here, and we're going to mix that for about 5 minutes until it gets nice and whipped to the ribbon stage, she calls it, where when you lift your paddle and you see it makes like a nice ribbony texture in the batter. You'll see what I mean later, or you can check out her website and see how she does it, okay? So we're going to mix this for about 5 minutes, and we're going to slowly add our sugar to this, okay? Okay, and while that's mixing, we're going to sift together our flours, okay? Our 2 different flours, if you're using both. Our baking soda, or baking powder, sorry, and our salt, baking powder. And we're just going to sift those together while that's mixing, okay? Okay, so we have our ribbon stage eggs, we have our sifted dry ingredients. Now we're just going to mix together our wet ingredients. We have our coconut milk, we have our stick of butter which we melted, okay? We're going to add our hot melted butter to that. Okay, we're just going to mix those together, and we're also going to add our vanilla and our coconut extracts to this mixture, okay? Okay, now to our egg mixture here, we're going to add our dry ingredients, okay? You can add them all at once, okay? And we're going to mix that. together. Okay, as you can see, we have our thickened batter. So what we're going to do is take, according to her, we're going to do a liaison. I love these terms these bakers come up with, and cooks and chefs. So we're going to take some of this batter, not all of it, maybe half of this batter, and we're going to mix in these wet ingredients. We're going to whisk in these wet ingredients with half of the batter. We don't want to dump all of this together because apparently it won't mix so well together. So we're doing kind of like what you do with a, I'm trying to think what this reminds me of. Oh, when you're tempering your eggs. That's what it reminds me of. Kind of reminds me of that. So we're just going to put that in, and we're going to mix this till this is evenly mixed. Now you have like a really runny cake batter here. It's almost like pancake batter. It's very wet, okay? And then now you're going to add this back to this main bowl where we're going to mix this all together, okay? But you kind of wanted to incorporate it a little bit with the other stuff first and not just dump it all in together, okay? Again, just following what they tell me to do. I've had a bunch of her stuff, Gretchen, so believe me, I trust everything she says. She knows what she's doing when it comes to baking. I haven't made something of hers yet that didn't taste amazing. Okay, so we're just going to mix this all together now. I may have to switch back over to a spatula. Okay, so we're just going to make sure this all gets folded in together. Okay, and then the last thing, we're going to fold in our coconut to this batter, okay? Our sweetened coconut. And that's it. Here's our 2 greased cake pans, and we're just going to divide this batter in between the 2 pans. Try to make it as even as possible so they kind of bake the same size. There's our 2 cakes ready to go in the oven. There's our sink full of bowls and dishes. Now let me just tell you, if you turn when you're making something, a cake or baking something or whatever, and you've got a sink that looks like this full of dish and bowls, that means it's going to be a really good cake because the mess tells you that you worked really hard on this thing. If you got like two spoons on a bowl in here, boring. You might as well start over. Throw it away and start over. So these are going into our 350 oven for about a half hour. We're going to keep our eye on them. We're baking, remember. Always watch your bake stuff to make sure. Sometimes it bakes faster, sometimes it bakes slower. You never know. Alrighty, in the oven with these, and we'll get started on our cream cheese frosting in the meantime, so that way the 2 things will be kind of ready at the same time. Alright, be right back. Okay, for our coconut cream cheese icing today, we need 3 blocks of softened cream cheese, 1 stick of unsalted butter, softened as well. We need 2 cups of confection sugar. We need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and a cup of flaked coconut. Okay, let's get started on our coconut cream cheese frosting that we're using today. Paddle attachment on. There's our bowl. We're going to start with our stick of unsalted butter. And what you want to do is mix this up and cream this in your blender or your mixer first. You want to just beat this till it's nice and creamy, okay? Okay, so there's our creamed butter, as you can see. So we're going to take this out of this bowl and just put it off to the side and back into this little bowl that we had it in, that we started in. And we're going to do the same thing to our cream cheese, okay? So that back on, and let's get our cream cheese in the bowl and do the same thing. We just want to whip it good. Sometimes when you hear that song, when you say the word whip it, you just immediately go right to Whip It by Devo. You youngins won't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's our cream butter. We're going to cream our cream cheese. Cream our cream cheese. It's a silly day today. Just be back in a few. Okay, and once your cream cheese is ready to go, what you're going to do, make sure you scrape the sides of your bowl here, is you're going to add your butter back to this. So now you're adding your creamed butter to your creamed cream cheese, okay? And we're just going to mix that together, the two things. Okay, and then see, you get this beautiful cream cheese mixture here, okay? Now what you're going to do, just want to make sure you scrape down the sides of your bowl, add your powdered sugar all at once, okay, to this mixture. And let's mix that together. Slow. To start. And we'll pick it up once we know it's not going to kick up in our face. Okay, and then our last two things, we're going to add our vanilla to this cream cheese mixture, okay? And because we're doing a coconut thing today, we're going to add some of our shredded coconut to this and let that mix in. This is really going to be a good cake today, I'll tell you. Okay, and there is our finished coconut cream cheese frosting. Now I'm going to leave this out for a little bit. Eventually, once it's on the cake, you'll have to refrigerate it because it is a cream cheese frosting, so you can't leave it out over, for any length of time. But I want to leave it out now because it's soft enough to work with that I'll be able to ice my cake with it when the cake comes out, let my cake cool down for a little bit, and then I'll be able to ice it. Then we'll refrigerate it overnight, once the cake is all assembled. I'm just afraid if I put it in there now, it's going to get too hard and stiff, and then when I go to try to ice the cake with it, it's going to rip my cake all apart. Alrighty, so we're just going to leave this out till our cake is cooled and ready to be decorated, which shouldn't take too much longer. It's almost done, maybe another 5-10 minutes in the oven, and we'll be back. We'll take them out and we'll let them cool. Alrighty, see you in a little while. Okay, there it is. A couple hours later, there's our finished 2-layer coconut torte. That's what we're calling it, a torte. We've decided it's a torte. So let's see how we did here. Dying to try a piece of this thing. Okay. So let's see what we got. We've got a nice layer of frosting's good. What we knew it would be, the cream cheese frosting. We've got a nice cake layer here. Let's see what we got. That's coconut. The cake is nice. It's probably going to be like a carrot cake, or like when we made the carrot cake. I would cut a slice and leave it out for a little bit, just to soften up to room temperature. Because out of the fridge, it's cold. It's a little firm. Not that it's bad, but you want a nice moisture piece. You could even do the microwave trick that we do with the carrot cake too. Like 20-30 seconds in the microwave just to soften it all up. But it's a really good cake. It's definitely coconut, which is what we wanted for today for our coconut torte. Alright? Just something we threw together since we couldn't find a coconut torte recipe. So we made our own. Alrighty? Have a good day, everybody. See you tomorrow.